We listening to this garbage that they making nowadays. I don't even know what the fuck they say. It sounds like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't even know. Like, when did it become a thing not to have lyrics? When did it become a thing just to harmonize with, or have your voice don't even sound good. It's not even clear. Or so I don't even know when that became a thing. But yeah, if you could feed your families with it, good for you.
Being in a group, how was like the contract structured? Was it $1 per person member or $1 for the group?
I mean, I never signed a contract. You know what I mean? It was a budget and a split of everybody splitting what the budget was. You know what I'm saying? The first one, we didn't have no budget, Silent Weapons. We just went in there and did our thing and, put it together, and RZA decided, y'all came with it. We're going to put it out. We got a little situation with Priority, a production deal, and you know what I'm saying? They want me to deliver some music. WU TANG's blowing up. You know what I'm saying? We always been trying to, put music together, and that was the dream, obviously. When you're young, you want to be a rapper. We've been working on music, but we got to a point where it was like, boom, we got a project. Right. And that was that.
Okay, so did you have any kind of knowledge of the music business going in as a young kid?
Not at all. No. Not at all, no. I just wanted to make good music, and you know what I mean? I wanted the world to hear my shit, my talent, you know what I mean, what I had to bring.
What kind of like mistakes you made with KILLARMY? Like,
honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I don't think any mistakes was made, and for the reason being, it's all a lesson. You know what I'm saying? It's a learning curve. You know what to do when you go through something and you get the wisdom. You know what I mean? Then you know what not to do. You know what I'm saying? I don't think necessarily it's a mistake, because you know what I mean, you got to go through hell to come out right. So I think it's just really a learning curve. You know what I'm saying? And you learning the business. You're getting better with your art. You know what I mean? Learning how to MC better. You know what I mean? Because the more you practice, you know what I mean, the more you get better at your craft. So I like I said, nothing was a mistake. It was just a learning. Like, first of all, it was a blessing for us to have the opportunity to, put an album out. Right. How many cats growing up that want to be rappers, that just so happens that my best friend's brother found a way, got on with his crew, and you know what I mean, we was the next up to bat. Like, yo, let's give the world, they loving this WU shit. Let's give them the young bros. Right. And that's how. So yeah, I don't got nothing to look back and say it was mistakes. Right. It's stuff I learned that could have been done better second time, third time around. You know what I'm saying? As you learn, but it's no mistakes. Right. It's like getting in a relationship with a wife. It don't work out. You got 2 kids from her though, right? Right. You look back, you say, was it a mistake? Nah, I got 2 beautiful babies out of it. I learned what it's like to be married and be in a relationship and go through all this goddamn turmoil and shit. You learn. You don't think of it as, you know what I mean, a mistake. Right. So it's like that.
Oh, okay. Now, let me ask you. Have you heard the Perfect rap album?
Perfect rap album? First of all, perfect, man. We all know perfection don't exist, man. We all striving to get to that, and it's this imaginary thing that everyone says, yo, it's perfect. Right. It can only be perfect to the individual. You understand what I'm saying? It can only be perfect to the individual. Now, to me, the perfect album, 36 Chambers from WU TANG was a perfect album to me. Okay. You know what I mean? It was my people, where I came from, my slang, what we grew up on, listening to, our struggles in our hood, being put out to the world with, and they loving it. That was perfect. You know what I mean? It just had that vibe that I grew up to. It was a perfect album. Okay. I'll give you another one. Lauryn Hill, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Perfect album. I loved it. I love soul. I grew up listening to Hey Love album and Stylistics and Delphonics and Teddy Prendergast and you know what I'm saying? Like all these artists, you know what I'm saying? Right. Denise Williams, I mean, the list goes on. You know, Stevie Wonder, Lionel Richie, these are all my favorites. This is stuff that was in my household playing. My moms would play. Right. So, Thriller, Off the Wall, perfect albums. I mean, to me though, let's get back to what I'm saying. I didn't say it's the perfect album, but to me, they were perfect albums. There's a lot of them, bro, but those are ones I would say is perfect. I'll give you a 36 Chambers from WU TANG, a Nas Illmatic, you know what I'm saying? Thriller, Off the Wall, Miseducation of Lauryn. Those are, you know, I can give you those. You know what I'm saying? Right now.
So before we get into TERA IZ HIM, right? Your first solo project.
My first solo.
Let's go back to What was one of your favorite slang, old school slang?
Slang.
Mine's was "you faking jacks."
Yeah, I had so much slang, man. Grew up around a lot of slang doctors, so I don't know, bro. Like, I can't really, that's a hard one. This is one of those questions, like, you can't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Remember?
Faking Jacks? I remember Faking Jacks.
Yeah,
You Faking Jacks. I remember that. That was a classic.
Yeah.
Give me a couple other ones and maybe one to ring a bell.
That's the bomb.
Nah, no.
What's another one?
Terrorist shit.
Terrorist.
Nah. Yeah, but nah, I don't know. Yeah, all of them. But Faking Jacks, I
Baby
used to say
Paul.
Baby Paul's my shit.
Yeah.
My man Islord rocks the Baby Paul. I used to rock Baby Paul heavy.
Right.
And then me and my brother Bugs, we joke around. We bring it back out now. You know, listen, come on, Baby Paul. You know, if he's coming up short with some money or we playing around, you're supposed to go get that.
Yeah.
Yo, he went to the store. Come on, Baby Paul.
Money Grip.
Money Grip was a good one.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
they were all good. You know what I'm saying? But that was what we grew up on. So I loved all the slang. You know what I mean?
Right. All right, so let's get back to Killer Army, right? Mm-hmm. So now you're out of Killer Army. Mm. You're a solo artist. Mm-hmm. What type of opportunities were coming to you as a solo artist before you start like your first project?
Well, just being on tour, you know, being up at radio stations while we were touring, doing the Killer Army, you know, fans would call the radio station. Remember when cats used to call up the radio station,
Right,
yo, call it live, Killer Army in the building.
Yeah.
And they would call, yo, PR, when you coming out with a solo, we getting a lot of that on the road. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was one of the guys that they keep asking, when am I coming out with a solo? That was that. As far as opportunities, man, I had to go out there and get what I had to get. You know what I mean? Nobody's banging on your door. I was, and a lot of cats didn't really, they like, when I did start knocking on doors looking for, you know, I went up to Penalty Records. I went to a couple of indie P&D deals like Land Speed and certain couple of other cats that was around back in the days. And they kind of wanted me to show some, that they wanted to sign off from RZA because they thought I was under, why you coming over trying to look for it? But, you know what I mean, I didn't have no sign off. I didn't have no paperwork to give them, but it was like a lot of cats were a little reluctant because they didn't want to touch something like, it's almost like some Rockefeller's artists going over here looking, they want the sign off. When in that case, I never signed a deal, you know what I mean? So,
Right.
you know, that was that. But yeah, no, it was no, the opportunity was you now have a name, you know what I mean? You're established, people know who you are. So how this works is as when you come out and you're an artist, a new artist, and you come out, whether you're part of a group or a solo artist, you drop a project. If you sell a certain amount of records, you become a household name. And then there's interest in you, which we did as a group. But now solo is a different story, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
We got a little head start. You know, people know you, we seen you in videos and stuff, but we still have to now, just like what they did with WU TANG, they have to put the budget behind you to make you a solo star now. Right. So, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I had a little reluctancy with that, but I was definitely sought cats, you know, I was sought after, but it was like, they were a little reluctant due to the situation of, you know, the family ties. Right. You dig?
So nobody actually wanted to say, look, here's a contract.
They wanted me to go have to do it, and I kind of was doing my own thing. I didn't want to have to go ask nobody or talk to them to have that conversation when I didn't even have no paperwork in the beginning. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, you kind of get what I'm saying? It's it was just the way I do things. So everyone got their own way. Some cats would have said, well, yo, let me go. I was like, I wanted to show and prove and do it myself. I was trying to go land my situation on my own. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So at no point with Killer Army did you have a contract?
No.
Okay, so financially, did Killer Army put you in a great spot financially? No,
it didn't put me in a great spot. I mean, you know, now by my great spot, I'm getting in my great spot now. You know what I mean? Like with my grind independently. You know what I'm saying? I made some money with Killer Army. We made money, but I wouldn't say a great spot, nah. So, and you split, and you gotta understand, bro. You know how big my family is? 6 rappers, a producer. We gotta split that. Whatever the pie is, the pie could be great. I'll give you an example: $500,000, 7 brothers, and a producer. Do you know how this thing works? Producers get 50% of that.
Right.
They are half the project because they make the music. We provide the lyrics. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So $500,000, right? Let's just say I'm giving you an example, and I'm not putting no specific. These are what we got, and I'm just giving an example right now because that's personal. I don't like to talk my money business really. You know what I mean?
Right.
But $500,000, producer gets 250, hypothetically speaking, and then 6 members split the other 250. Is that putting you in a great situation? And then when you got to make that back, they show you you're in the red. We pay for videos, this, that, and the other. So that's pretty much what you get on that album. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah.
Okay.
But that's how it works. We gotta understand. I came in doing, brother business. You know what I mean? We didn't come in. We didn't go directly and sign. You know what I mean? We were on a major with Priority, but we went through the brothers who had the production deal that. You know what I mean? They were still learning the game. You know what I'm saying? We definitely didn't know the game. So we just happy to be on. You know what I'm saying? That kind of situation.
Killer Army did what? 4 albums?
3 albums.
3 albums.
I don't include that last one that Ninth did on his own. 3 albums. You know what I mean? I wasn't on it. I didn't partake in it. It wasn't, so I wouldn't include that, But 3 albums that the world knows that sold significant amounts of record. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so now you're a solo artist, right? What's your plan now?
The plan is just to continue to make good music and put my music out to the world and let them enjoy it. You know what I mean? I own everything. I own my master since 2002. I own everything I put out. You know what I'm saying? I own my publishing. Everything that, I say it in my song. I got a song on my new album called Bossed Up. I said, when you own your own publishing, masters, and copyright, you could do 1/10 what they do and be all right. I learned this shit through the brotherly, fuckery, trickery.
Right.
Just know, one thing's for sure, there's no more sticking me. Now I'm bossed up, blood, sweat, and tears of what it cost us.
Right.
But worth every drop when you learn your shit's flawless. You dig me? So that's what the kind of shit I'm on, you know what I mean?
Right.
Everything is boss. So even then when I was trying to shop, I already had the boss mentality. When I told you I didn't really want to go and ask nobody for nothing because I had nothing to ask for. You feel me? I was just doing it, but that was the holdup because either you provide the paperwork, because to us as a company, you look like you signed. You came out, you got you dropped albums with your you know what I mean, with under a label. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And shit like that. So, yeah.
So now you decide to do your first solo project, TERA IZ HIM, right? What was the process with that? Was that like, home studio recording?
Nah, that was actually Big Boy Studios. We didn't know about home studios then. You got to understand. You know what I mean? That home studio shit came a little bit later.
Right.
I was working on my solo TERA IZ HIM. I was coming out my own pocket, you know what I mean, with that. You know what I'm saying? Booking, I'd had a couple of hit factories, Quad, you know what I mean, wherever I can get in, but it was just what we were used to at that time. I mean, it was real. I recorded TERA IZ HIM on reel. I got the reel at the house. I would go home with ADATs as my little, when I have my master, it'd be on ADAT. You know what I'm saying? This is a whole different world we live in. There's no wave, you know what I mean, MP3. This is little DAT cassette.
Right.
You know what I mean? The reel was where you had your master, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, all Big Boy Studios getting deals because of relationships and dudes knew who I was. So they would, but I still paid. I paid out the pocket.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I did it that way. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's been a journey, man. It's been a journey.
Now, how far did this album go?
The album I did independently, a little over 30,000 copies sold. You feel me? I did that off the last leg of the Killer Army, the last album. I started promoting it on there. You would see, my album coming soon on the the vinyls and the artwork.
Right.
On the little tours we would be doing. You know what I'm saying? Then I got in early with the .com shit because a good thing I had some good people, putting stuff in my ear at the time. You know what I'm saying? You got to go online, and that was even new.
Right.
So I had the prterrorist.com at the time, and I was selling a lot of units on there because I came in early with figuring out, which was a beautiful thing. Then the mom and pop stores, I put my shit on consignment at first. So I went to Fat Beats, you know what I mean, consignment. I went to Moody's in the Bronx, the whole tri-state
This
area.
was physical CDs.
Physical CDs. Yeah. Beat Street, Majors in Staten Island, Beat Streets in Brooklyn. Like I went to the store, talked to the owner, told them my story, put it in, they accepted it. I was doing very good on consignment. I was going up there every 2 weeks and dropping boxes off, and they were doing, you know, to the point where how I got put onto the, not direct.com, because I had my own .com, but I got put onto the .comers, the retail stores that were online selling, which was undergroundhiphop.com, Sandbox Automatic. So while I was doing very well in Fat Beats, that shout out DJ Eclipse, my brother, good friend of mine. He actually, I guess Sandbox had reached out. They would ask Fat Beats because they were like the tastemakers on underground hip hop. You know what I mean? And underground, they would call them up and ask them who's doing well or who's hot right now, who's new. And I guess Eclipse let them know about me, and they was like, "Yo, can we put us in touch with Don Pachino?" You know what I'm saying? Put me in touch, and they weren't doing consignment. This was now they were like, "We want to buy a couple of boxes off of you."
Right.
I would drop them off. They cut me a check, and I did very well with Sandbox. Shout out to Ed and Smiley up there. You know what I mean? The owners did some good business with them throughout the years. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Sold a lot of records with them, to the point where that made me want to put more. I was like, you can't just have one. I'm running out. This one's getting old now, and I started getting in the studio and doing it. You know?
Yeah.
And pumping out more shit.
Okay. So did this project like take you overseas, you know, where you did multiple shows and
No. I mean, not even the Killer Army stuff, because I was on paper. I was in jail. I had some jail. You know, I did some jail time. I was on probation during the Killer Army, the whole Killer Army process. I was forgot when I got off probation, but it was definitely let me see that. It was after the third Killer Army album. I was still on paper. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't go. Went overseas with my own. Napalm brought me overseas. Putting all this underground work in is what put me overseas. Right. I got my paperwork. I got my my passport and all that, you know, situated, and then I went overseas, you know what I mean, and did my thing. Yeah.
So now, TERA IZ HIM is bubbling. Any opportunities coming to you from that? Yeah,
where you have features and different cats now, you know, shows, you know, I was doing solo shows. I did, you know, little Manhattan gigs, Club Downtime, and different spots, you know what I mean? I can't even name all the spots, you know what I mean? They've closed down some of these, you know what I mean? I've been in the game a long time, bro, you know what I mean? So even my memory is only but so, you know what I'm saying? I got a good memory because I remember these rhymes now without no paper, bro. I go green, you know what I'm saying? My technique is going green. I don't even, this last couple of albums you heard, I don't write nothing down. I don't put a pen to a pad no more, you know what I'm saying? I go in there, I lay what's on my head, drop a couple of bars, wait a second, vibe off the rest of it, say what I'm gonna come with next in my head, and then lay that down, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I go green. Going green means you ain't using, nobody gotta recycle nothing. It's just, I ain't wasting, you know, I ain't fucking up the earth, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. So I mean, like, what artist was calling, like, for features?
I mean, I don't, just, they were all kinds. This is MySpace days. You remember MySpace days, right? I mean, I did features with all kinds of cats. I did a feature I met in D&D. Actually, that's another studio I was working out with, the TERA IZ HIM, D&D. Did the Primo Room, you know what I'm saying? Right. They had some cats in there that I met called CPV. Shout out CPV from Spain. The first hip hop group, you know, in Spain, and a big hip hop group because they was the first. You know what I mean? They did their thing, and big for that country because, you know, these countries are smaller, but you know what I mean. But I think they're renowned for being the first hip hop group in Spain, CPV. And I met the dudes, and they knew they was fans of my work. You know what I mean? All these other countries, they love, you know, New York MCs because we are the you know, foundation of
Europe,
it.
like,
We're the foundation of it. That's where hip hop came from. So that inspired them. All these cats growing up watching the videos of however they used to get the tapes. Right. So they wanted me to hop on their joint. I hopped on it. I think it was something Fiestas or something like that. And Fiesta, I don't remember the joint. I got the vinyl. They sent me a vinyl and all that. But that was a feature. So it was different international shit I was doing, you know what I mean? Right. But I did a slew of features, bro. I can't remember all the, you know, the artists, man, like I said.
Hearing the word independence, right? Is it all it's chopped up to be?
I don't know. I didn't think it was ever chopped up to be anything big. I think people was like, independent, that means broke, you know what I mean? I didn't think independent ever was glorified, you know what I'm saying? I think the majors is glorified. Everybody's like, I'm gonna get signed, I'm gonna get a record deal, I'm gonna do this. Yo, man, I learned that the independent, first of all, I felt like I had no choice but to go independent. You know what I'm saying? I don't make that kind of music that, you know what I mean, people, especially in today's market, forget about it. They dropping bags. They want that drill, that trap, that commercial shit, you know what I'm saying? Right. And I don't do that. Right. I specialize in hardcore, militant, boom bap, hip hop, you know what I'm saying? Right. And So independent for me worked out because I got the niche on the business. You know what I mean? You can say you're independent, but if you don't know all the roads, you know what I mean, and where they lead to and how they connect, you know what I'm saying, and how to make them cohesive, you know what I'm saying, and for what you're doing independently. But there's a lot of work. See, a lot of cats don't want to do the work. So independent is not for everybody. You either hope for a major or never get hurt. Because they don't want to put the work in. It's not just go say I'm indie and that's it. You drop something on, iTunes, or you get you get a little DSP situation and put your shit out. I mean, nobody knows about it. It's a lot of work. You know how much money I spent on Napalm to get this thing going? You know what I'm saying? Like, I was starting as a solo artist. I had to rejuvenate, reinvigorate, and everything to you know what I mean? It's like they knew me as a group. The name Killer Army is what people here, they recognized. They didn't yeah, they knew a couple of you were a big Killer Army fan, you know, Shogun Assassin, and you know these certain names, Killer Sin, but you didn't, like, that's not the big name you're gonna catch, you know, of anybody. If you talk to a random person, they'd be like, Killer Army, yeah, I remember that video, because you remember that. You're not gonna remember the names of the individuals. So coming from a group, I had to regroup myself, start all over, and invest in myself. You know what I'm saying? And I did that work. And I'm still doing that work. You know what I'm saying?
Because, I mean, when you go back to like the 90s, early 2000s, everybody would say like rappers, independence is the best way to go because you make all the money, but they're not telling the other side to where it's like you got to use your money.
Yeah, you got to
do all the footwork.
Yeah, there's got cats that use investors' money and then lose it, and then you never hear them again. Like you don't just have to use your money, but if you believe in yourself, then you put your bag behind yourself.
Right.
You know, and then you can't lose because now you got to treat it. Let me ask you something. You gonna treat my dollar like you're gonna treat yours? You're not gonna respect my dollar the way you're gonna respect. When you put your own money, you're like, this shit gotta work. And if you believe in yourself, you'll put your money behind and make it work.
Right.
As simple as that. You're not gonna be so, you're gonna be playing with people's money and like, or crying about it. You thought they should have gave you some more money or did more for you. No, we gave you the money, brother. It's up to you now to show us what you give us a return on our investment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, you're not going to get a return on your investment when you first start out independently right away. You know what I mean? You got to be super lucky or you just get hit off with something, you know what I mean? But you got to continuously wake up every day, you know what I mean? And affirmations, tell yourself, I'm dope, I'm talented, I got what it takes, and I'm going to keep pushing and keep pushing and keep drilling until they start respecting my shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what I do every goddamn day. TERA is shit. And now all over the world, fans are saying TERA is shit. You don't see 100 Killer Armies on there. You see Napalm, TERA is shit, the general.
Right.
I made a name for myself. It's not easy independently.
Right.
Coming from a group and majors, coming out, putting your own bag up, keep drilling, keep doing what I just told you, to now it's starting to reap the benefits and the rewards and you know, the respect.
So now that TERA Iz HIM, would you say that was a success?
Of course.
In your eyes?
Absolutely, 100%.
All right.
100%.
So at this point,
my biggest selling solo project independently. You know, I came close with the second one that I came up with the unreleased. But you got to understand, that wasn't even supposed to be a solo project. TERA Iz HIM, even on the project, I called it a mixtape or something. You know what I'm saying? So it turned out to be a solo project, is what I'm saying, because it was my first release and it did, it was successful. But it was supposed to be a mixtape. You know what I mean? I was trying to get on a major to drop the album, the official album, but it never happened. So that was my first solo.
Got you. So was like the DJs, radio stations showing
DJs
love?
were showing, radio stations, certain radio stations would spin, throughout the states and shit like that, yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? The mixtape DJs, the streets, that was hot at the time, you go to Fulton Street and you'd be on amazing. I had a lot of love on there. I had DJs doing mixtapes and me doing like hosting it and stuff like that throughout, Queens and different boroughs, you know what I mean?
Right.
Tri-state shit.
Right.
And so yeah, man, all of that. It was a lot of, definitely a lot of love on the streets. I mean, my shit was heard places that I didn't even know,
Right.
I go on tour places and see fans are coming with the first joint, and I'm like, damn, how the hell it reach all the way out here? You know what I'm saying? So music travels, bro. Music travels.
Right. Definitely.
Word of mouth is serious too, you know what I mean?
Let me ask you this. As a solo artist, or even with Killer Army, You ever came across payola?
I'm sure payola. We never really did it. Shit, I would have been willing to do it. I think I said in one of the Killer Army thing, I would have smacked somebody with a couple of racks and a little, what they call those little vanilla envelopes or whatever. I would have smacked it with to get it, if it was going to help bring us to where we had to go. You know what I'm saying? But we never did it. Whatever we got was off this respect of maybe intimidation.
Right.
They're coming to a DJ with 100 dudes rocking camo, yo, spin on shit, you know, because it was different then. We rolling up on DJs, you know, telling them to spin their shit. You know what I mean? But not no payola. I'm sure it existed. Don't get it twisted. It's just, you know, that was for the businessman. Our approach was different. It was like, yo, play our shit, dog. You know what I mean? Where, you know, you had the quirky guy with the sweatpants on going and talking business, sitting down, bringing them out to restaurants, you know what I mean? Dinner, and then telling, you know, this is from the guys. We just want you. We didn't go about it that way. You know, you're learning again, bro. I came in this game 18 years old, bro. 18 years old, first KILLARMY album. That's how old I was. Come on, bro. We was doing the street thing heavy. I just came out of jail, bro. Like it wasn't no, you know what I'm saying? No etiquette of business at all whatsoever. You dig?
All right, so let's go back, right? Who was Don Pachino before KILLARMY?
Don Pachino was just a regular cat from Staten Island, you know what I mean? Rough, you know, grew up pretty rough, you know what I mean? Mom, you know, single mother, you know what I'm saying? That's it, you know what I mean? I seen a lot. I mean, from where I live,
what put you in the streets?
Friends, family, friends, pops shooting up in front of me as a kid, seeing a lot of shit, bro. I mean, people getting robbed, shot in front of me, friends, uncles getting shot, coming home from school, pop, right in front of the building. Like, seeing this is what I bear witness to. I seen a lot. You feel me? Fist fight. I mean, shit, I fought my whole life, bro. I've been fighting, you know, anybody who knows me from my hood, going to school with me, PS14 and all that, you can ask them. You see some gorillas, they'll be like, yo, he used to chase me home. This nigga right here, crazy. You know, it's a real story, you know, shit. You know what I mean? Man, it's just rough. I mean, you know, shout out Staten Island, shout out Stapleton, shout out Park Hill, shout out the whole Staten Island, man. But, you know, we came there looking, you know, my uncle moved us out there, you know, bought a house. He was a Wall Street guy, and he was looking for a better way. And coming from uptown where my family comes, in the Bronx, you know what I'm saying? And went out there, bought a house in Stapleton, though. You know, we thought, you think Staten Island, a lot of cats, even to this day, oh, Staten Island's sweet. Nah, I think they're starting to learn now that Staten Island ain't so sweet. You know what I mean? With all the WU TANG fame and then the movies and the documentaries and different, you know, people starting to get a really, like, yeah, okay, it's real out there. Even in the penal system, man, the Brooklyn House and Rikers, they know Staten Island get busy. Like, if you was a jail cat, you know, oh, Allen, you know, Shaolin, we made a name out, you know what I mean, within the jail facilities to, you know what I mean, the streets or whatever. But yeah, man, it was rough, man. But again, if you would ask me, do I regret it? Was it a mistake? No, man, that was made Don Pachino the terrorist who I am, bro.
What put you in the streets, though?
When you say put me in the streets, what you mean?
Like, how did you get to jail?
Oh, well, I had, you know, I shot somebody when I was younger, you know what I mean? Shot somebody 4 inches from their heart, and I went away, you know what I mean? I'm not proud of it. It was young, you know what I mean? Street bullshit, you know what I mean? I tried to avoid it at all costs, and it's what happened, you know?
Right.
I did my time for it, was testified, you know, the kid came and testified against me, and I did my time like a man, and I came on. I did the rest of my probation that I had to do or whatever, you know what I mean? I was young. I was 17 years old, you know what I'm saying?
Right. So,
you know what I mean?
now, TERA IZ HIM, right? What was the plan after that?
The plan was, honestly, man, you know, when you're doing this, you didn't have no plan. You know how many ins and outs I had? You know, you make a little money and then your shit starts to trickle down and you're like, oh, I'm trying to find this. I'm trying to find distributors and, you feel me? Everything good?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's no plan. You just take it as you go. You know what I mean? Oh, I got to make another project. How I'm going to get this one out? And they had these little, I would like to say mom and pop small distribution chains where I forgot the name. I wish I remember. They had one in Queens and different ones. So I got put onto those guys too in the early stages. And you would drop a couple of boxes off with them. And see, the difference between them is the mom and pop stores I was going to on foot by myself. These guys already, they were distribution. They delivered to them. So I was selling some good units to them. I got put onto those. And it really wasn't no plan. My plan was always just to provide dope music, get it heard, get it out there to the fans. I said it on the KILLARMY track, the Shootout, which I go twice on. I said, I'm going to keep my fans fed. I referenced that line. And I don't think if my fans go back on this journey in Napalm, they can be like, yo, the God never lied.
Right,
He
right.
kept us fed.
Right.
I'm on my 50th project I'm about to drop. I dropped DVDs, compilations. My artist got shit. I got my artist going. He's on his like 6th, 7th project right now.
Bugsy
You
the
feel
God.
Bugsy the God. So him alone is on 6, 7 out on there. Just imagine everything I did. I think this is like my 25th solo or 24th solo I'm about to drop. You know what I'm saying? And then the compilations, DVDs. You know what I'm saying? Just so much work, man. So I think that I kept them fed. Shit.
Okay, so how do you like the digital world?
Man, I like the physical world better, bro. If you want, you know what I'm saying? I'm adapting to the digital world. I like the fact that you can click a button and everybody hears it at once. You know what I'm saying? I kind of like that aspect of it. But you know, it changed with the streams. You know, it depends. The download business ain't too bad because people still buying it. But now everything going digital. People are doing these shared, these torrents, and you buy the album. You could buy a Nas album right now and share it with your buddies, and everyone's just listening to it for free. I think they lost they devalued the music a lot with the shit. You know, in the same token.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think, yeah, pretty much. That's how I feel. I feel like, but there's, you just got to go with the times. You got to constantly evolve. You can't be that old dog you can't teach new tricks to. So learn how to figure it out and maneuver through the new times with this digital wave. You know what I mean? I'm not here to hate on nothing because, everybody's going to evolve. You know, we living in an evolving world, man. So you just got to go with the punches. I wouldn't be still dropping music. I got the new album coming out February 14th, 23, this year. I wouldn't still be doing this if I didn't go with the punches and figure out the next, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So.
But is the digital world more lucrative than back in the days? The physical?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. You got to work harder now with this digital. You can still make money. I'm not saying you can't make money, but it's definitely not. No, anyone who tells you that, the only ones who's doing that, that's turning that, and it will be the pop star like Drake. He's doing what would be considered great numbers, but if he would have did that physically, I forgot how much he did within how many streams he did. I forgot they had it, top streams of the year, like billions. Imagine those being sales at $15 a CD. He'd be
Trillionaire.
what's the guy from Amazon, Bezos, and what's the other guy with Tesla? What's the guy?
I know who you're talking about.
You know who I'm talking about. He would be richer than both of them, Drake, the numbers he's doing digitally, if that was the case.
Yeah.
But it still works out because, see, when you become that big and everyone's listening to you, you now tour. His shows is like probably 1.5 a show. And I could be off with that, you know what I'm saying? So you still make your money on the other end because you have the popularity. Everybody wants to see you perform now, so you make the show money. You dig what I'm saying? So that works for those artists. Now the independent artists, you gotta have your hand and you gotta have that niche. You gotta have 100 things going on. You feel me?
Right. So I mean, being independent, right?
Yeah.
You said this is what? The new project is what number?
Probably the 50th, I believe.
50. Okay. How do you prepare for that?
Oh man, can't be giving you all my tricks. Everybody, I know this is supposed to be informative, but there's a lot of cats that have been watching me for a while.
What's your approach on starting like a project in the digital era?
I mean, it's always the same as far as starting it. Like, honestly, man, I'm always making music. I never stop making music. So it's really when I get a couple of tracks together, I'm like, you know what? This could be a project. And probably like 6 tracks in of some dope shit, I'll say, fuck it, I'll make a new album. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now let me start getting a little bit more into the concept of what it's going to be.
Right.
The first 6 tracks wasn't themed towards a name of a project. Like this right here is called TERA IZ HIM.
Right.
It's my hashtag, it's everything. It's called branding, bro.
All right, so let's talk about the new project. Go ahead. TERA IZ HIM, why?
TERA IZ HIM, because that's everything I embody. I say TERA IZ HIM is not a bad thing. Terrorists is they do anything to get their point across. They by intimidation, hijacking, hostage, killing, blowing up. You feel me? So I did everything in this music business And I continue to do everything in music is to get my point across and my word out there. So that's that TERA shit.
Okay, like any features on this track? On
No,
this song?
absolutely only one. Bugsy the God, my brother. It's the only one who was able to get on this ship.
Right.
I did this. Another thing is that when you talk independent and you talk artistry, you got to think about what that is. This album right here, bro, I produced it, mixed it, arranged it, wrote it, performed it, and I just learned how to master, and I mastered this album. You know how many people touched this album or heard it? Zero. No other. I didn't have to send it to an engineer or do this. I recorded this in my facilities by myself, tweaked it, every instrument, ding, you have piano, you have in there. I created that. That's artistry, bro. And I'm doing the business behind it. So when cats want to sit there and compare and put who's the top, if they're a complete artist, you know, I think I watched something a while back where I think Prince was on a show or Nas was on the show, and they said, yo, we're going to do a song with Prince. And Prince, he asked Prince to do, you know, a feature with him, and he was like, Prince had asked him, do you own your own masters? And he said, no. He said, I can't do it. But see, that's the level of where Prince is. It's not to shit on Nas. He would have loved to do one with him, but he didn't want to go and give that to the big companies, the corporate. He wanted to work with someone who we could split this and do this the right way.
Right.
I don't want these other people involved in my pocket.
Right.
That's the brilliance of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm at that level where I did this whole shit myself. It's pure artistry, down to the artwork. The artwork for the album, the inserts thing, I did the artwork. It's 100% my artistry.
Now let me
TERA
ask you.
shit.
Let me ask you. Are you being selfish with stuff like that? Or
I've done hundreds. No. I'll let you answer the question. Am I being selfish with it? I've did 50. This is my 50th project, right? I put. You know how many upcoming producers I put on, and they hopefully they watching this and they know who they are. Nobody knew them. I put them on tracks. They start getting hit up from other rappers now because, oh, you did a hot joint with Don P. Hundreds of them I put on. Hundreds. That's all I was working with for new ones.
Right.
I was giving them all. If I like the beat, a production, that time is now. It's time. It's TERA shit time, bro. It's time. I wasn't concentrating on that. You got to understand, I'm wearing 100 hats. Every video you see right now, my last 30 videos, I've all directed. I've shot them with my own material, my own cameras. I invested again. This is this is the depth of my investment into this craft.
Right.
I got the full frames. You feel me? I got the lights. I got everything. I do the editing myself. There's no one touching this. No one's touching my canvas, bro. It's my paintbrush. No one's touching my paintbrush.
Right.
You dig me? So it's a different level of artistry that people gotta understand. When you get into me as a solo artist or as an artist, you know what I mean? You gotta go and really put the scope on all of this shit. You know, now who's the best rap? Yeah, shit. Lyrically, I'm shit. I think I'm nasty, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But then it's so much different layers now. Like, wow, he produces it, he did the mixing, he mastered it, and he did the artwork. All the videos, all the visuals, that was directed by him, his ideas, his concepts. That's crazy. Even the ones I didn't do the artworks for like War Poetry with my brother Bronze. I took that photo, told him exactly how I wanted. Even Gemini Mine, I took 2 photos in my studio, put them together, told them this is how I want it with the artist. You know, I was directing everything you've seen anyway. I just wasn't doing it with my own 2 hands as far as the artwork goes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I was getting mastering done by my brother in Spain. That's part of that, was one of the producers of that first group I put. He came around and I didn't even know he was part of the producers on the CPV. Remember the Spain dudes? Look at how things come around. And he'd been mastering a lot of my projects for years now.
Right.
Been my brother. I do features. I'm all over his, his clique and his shit, the way he's doing. Shout out Dash and Mosh.
Oh, okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I gave, to answer the question, I gave hundreds of producers that you don't know their names. Go look at my I produced the last 3 albums. Icon, Militant, Godfather, and this new one right here, TERA shit. I pretty much fully produced them. I have, even on my last one, I have 1 bonus track with my dude Dub Sonata, shout out Dub. And he's an old producer from back in the days when I was first getting started that we connected again on the gram and let's put some work in. You know, it was brotherhood shit. Right. So yeah, I helped a lot of upcoming producers. No, I'm not being selfish. I gave so many opportunities in this, you know what I mean? And my relationships are all golden with all of them, you know what I mean?
Okay. let's go back. Being a member of Killer Army, did you walk away with your masters?
No, no, you can't. How are you gonna walk away with a piece of a chocolate chip? It's a whole cookie, man. You got so many people involved. How you gonna walk away with that? You know what I mean?
Right.
I'd like to.
Right.
I'd like to get that piece of that cookie back, and who knows what the future lies. You know what I mean? Because there's certain things that got to be rectified. But no, to answer your question.